Welcome to the Lust Grid, uh, the original series by none other than SZMOVY, SZMOVY. Feels good, it feels amazing. And in this dissection, we're going to be breaking down the architecture behind your addiction and what is the collective Lust Grid. So without further ado, as I say always, I like to have notes because I want to make sure I'm giving you, the viewer, the audience, the proper dissection and the proper breakdown, just so that way, as I mentioned previously on other videos, I stay on point and it allows you to get the best quality and bang for your buck and for your time. So, as I mentioned, if you want access to my notes, feel free to email me. Like I said, as we begin to grow and begin to get larger, sooner or later, I will have protocols and more extensive notes within the Patreon community. Without further ado, let's go on ahead and let's get into it. So, what is the Lust Grid? The collective Lust Grid. Okay. This isn't just about personal struggle. This is about a machine and overreacting spiritual system engineered to harvest your energy globally. Okay, it's not a dirty website. It's not a late night urge. It is an entire energetic infrastructure built to keep gods and goddesses distracted, drained, and dependent. So the reason why this is so key is because, like I've told you guys in other videos, and even now, like sooner or later, you're going to come to the realization that sorry about that. You're gonna come to the this freaking MacBooks, bro. They always be anyways, you're gonna come to the realization that your energy and your attention are the most important things in this life. Meaning is like, it's, I take us all the time. It's not a matter of like having or gaining more knowledge. What do you do with that knowledge, and then what do you focus on, and what are you utilizing your energy for with that knowledge? You feel me? So the trick and the scheme of this whole game is just to keep you distracted, to keep you into things that don't bring back any intrinsic value, and to keep you drained and dependent on it. They're banking on you thinking as though it's natural for you to drain yourself, thinking as though it's natural to always be overly exerting of yourself and your cells. Okay, you think it's just you, but no. You are one signal inside of a massive self-replicating broadcast. And that signal is being tracked, studied, and monetized. If I'm not mistaken, I think the pornographic industry is $1 trillion industry now. So put that into perspective on top of like what it's doing on the back end. And then on top of that, taking that out of the question, meaningless sex, you're literally just draining yourself. And then all that could have been utilized, all that could have been encapsulated into you healing yourself, into you growing yourself, into you building your own grid. You know, people talk about collapsing timelines and creating new timelines and living from the end, but how you live from the end, how you collapse timelines if you're giving other forces, giving other light forms your energy? How? Like I said, we break things down at a very basic level. I'm going to give you all the truths, but a lot of these things you basically know, but it hasn't been really broken down in a structured way for you to realize that it's all up to you, you know? So the collective Lust Grid, a loop embedded in culture, not just behavior, okay? Hidden inside music videos, TikTok, trending sounds, outfits, filters, okay? Programmed through algorithms, ads, influence, fantasy TV, okay? Feeds on mass projection, not private desire. creates the illusion that lust is empowering, normal, and even self-love. Feels personalized, but is factory designed to trap your type. It doesn't just watch your clicks, it designs your urges. That was such an extensive and powerful breakdown because look at it like this, right? And I tell you guys all the time, at a basic level, there's nothing wrong with desire. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to be with somebody and, express yourself with that person. But when these behaviors are hijacked and you're just doing it nonsensically and you're doing it out of an urge, you're doing it out of just like a mass projection into you just over and over and over, and you're thinking like you're watching this content, For instance, right, I got a download. I was like, that show, right? I think it's called like The Bachelorette or something like that. If you watch that show, or like if you see like a commercial, that show literally is just the mere promotion of just staying in your lustful nature, which I get it. People want to be entertained, people want to watch it, but it's just like when you even realize that, you realize like, dang, this is so deep embedded inside of me that you would think that sleeping around, just sex hopping, it's just a normal thing. But it's like, you got to realize it's entrapping you. And that entrapment is dangerous. See what I'm saying? It's very, very dangerous. So it's like, you got to honestly ask yourself, like, are you tired, or do you feel as though you were born to be extracted? You were born to be fed upon. This is not just temptation, it's architecture. Woo! Let me take a sip to that. Architecture. You're not just seeing sexualized content. You're walking through a digital temple of hyper stimulation. This temple was built to override your soul. Dopamine loops, instant access, escapism posing as empowerment, and spiritual starvation dressed as fun. Time out. Spiritual starvation dressed as fun. People tell you, you're young, you only live once, have fun, feel free. You do that, but you're empty inside. You're hollow inside. Like I tell you guys all the time, there's nothing wrong with these things. But when you're doing it and you're feeling that spiritual starvation, you got to take a step back and be like, hold on. What is really going on? Like Marvin Gaye said, what's going on? What's going on? Seriously, what's going on? Because like I said in the previous video, when you tap into intercourse, when you tap into divine union, magical things happen. Your life improves, your finances improve, you bring back life on the planet, you heal one another. But when you're just tapping into it from the less good perspective, spiritual starvation. Spiritual starvation. You think you're choosing, but the system knows you better than you know yourself because it helped build you. The normalization is the real spell. Okay? I'm going to say this real quick. It is not normal for you to be constantly depleting your resources, your sacral energy, your life force energy all day, every day. That is not natural. That is not natural, okay? I'm going to just throw that out there. That is not natural. You were not born, listen, you were not born to have incubi, syncubi, hey, syncubi. It's when an incubus and a succubus make a child. Oh, man. Hey, don't steal that. But anyway, it's when an incubus and a succubus, parasitical life form, parasitical thought form. You did not incarnate on this planet to just be fed upon them. And then on the back end, these corporations, they make bank off of you tapping into these websites, tapping into these products and these services that are literally draining you. And they're gonna tell you, It's a part of life, you know. That's just what we do, you know what I mean? Like, it turns spiritual fragmentation into a fashion trend. It sells your body over being, aesthetics over essence, and then calls it self expression. It's not rebellion, it's designed chaos. The hypersexual imagery, the content stimulation, the constant stimulation, the dopamine loop from likes, swipes, and scrolls. It's not just how things are now. It's intentionally it's intentional fragmentation. And this is deep, so real quick, when you ejaculate and you climax, especially to pornographic content or in just in a meaningless way, your soul fragments. And when your soul is fragmented, it causes disorders and it causes malfunctions within your body. I'm gonna go deeper into that, like into that specific, not actually leash, but like lane. But for lack of better terms, you do not want your soul to fragment, especially at a constant level, because that's where these entities hijack your timeline, and then you're at where you're at, but you're having these visions, these thoughts of something better in life, but it's being hijacked because your soul's in fragments. A system built to keep you overstimulated, emotionally unstable, spiritually starved. So you're too distracted to notice your own power. They don't need you to, woo! They do not need to chain you. You know, I was talking to somebody and I told them, I said, the war is not physical, it's mental, because they gave you the chains and you put it on and you called it normality, you called it compliance. And it's so deep that people defend the prison, people defend the chaos, and will try to look at you crazy or try to lash out at you when you're just trying to show them a different avenue, when you're trying to help them remember. The game is about remembering that you were never meant to be subjugated and enslaved. They just need you to keep chasing. That's what designed chaos is. A loop so noisy, you forget that you're in one. You that you forget that you're in one who can silence it. How the machine stays alive, okay? The machine feeds off of volume, not depth. Millions of people leaking small bits of energy over and over daily. Compound interest. This is how it survives. It doesn't need you to crash. It doesn't need you to scroll. Just to fantasize. We're going to get into that. To chase a high it designed for you. Your subconscious becomes the server room, the lust becomes the power source. Woo! Hold on. Your subconscious becomes the server room, the lust becomes the power source. Your subconscious mind is working even when you sleep. Your subconscious mind produces damn near everything. It takes everything literally. So it's like when you're fantasizing about doing anyone and everyone and you're not conceptualizing thoughts and fantasizing, because think about it, right? When you think about a thought, it's automatically active in the quantum realm. When you think about it for more than 2 minutes, it is solidified. And that solidification only amplifies the more you fantasize and think about that thing. So think about the global, the collective lust grid, constantly thinking about it. That's why you'll just be randomly walking somewhere and you just get like a random urge to like do something. It's not always inherently you. That's the collective lust grid. Okay? There's literally like a cloud server room and it's just being fed lust. But we're thinking like, it's normal. But like I told you guys, at a basic level, desire and the yearning to want to connect with somebody or to get to know yourself at a basic and sacred and divine way, there's nothing wrong with that. But as you can see in what we're dealing with right now in this timeline, I don't got to say too much. You're not the problem, you're the battery. This isn't shame, this is the truth. You've been plugged into a system that has weaponized your natural instincts. What you think is desire might actually be the feedback loop coded by capital. Your attention tracked, your escape route predicted, your weakness marked. So it's like marketed. My bad, y'all. So it's like, think about it like this, man. Those three terms, right? Tracked, predicted, marketed. This realm, especially these low frequency entities, they're predictable and it's a loop. So when you have that feeling or when you have that kinetic thought that you're going to escape or that you're going to find a way out, it's going to bring a very similar predictive thought, a very similar predictive urge. So once I said in my other video, once you tap into observer mode and you enter into creator mode, not reactor mode, always reacting, but when you tap into these modes, you're going to start seeing like, oh, okay, that's what it's tapping into. That's what it's signaling. Okay, and you gradually get out and wean out of it. This is a global grid, but it starts with you. The collective lust grid is everywhere, but it survives by hijacking your personal one. It tells you it's freedom. It tells you it's empowerment. But what it's really saying is keep leaking, keep projecting, keep feeding me. The number one currency in this realm is your energy. When you think about money, all money is collective energy crystallized into form. An agreement that we've all made as souls that it has value. But the most valuable thing in this realm is your attention, is your soul, is your life force energy. It's point blank. You don't break it through outrage. You break it through what? Awareness. And I'll say application. Because awareness without application is lack. Knowledge without application is still lack. You can read all the books. You can watch this video, but if you don't apply it, even this video don't mean anything. The second you say, I see you, it loses power. Become aware. Name it. Own it. Stand on it. And keep it pushing. Starve it out. Dismantling the micro starts with the micro. Dismantling the macro starts with the micro. This grid is not external. This grid is only sustained by your perception. You are not broken. You are being used. Your desire is sacred, but it's been reprogrammed. Your urge isn't wrong. It's been redirected. I just told you. I'm not trying to be weird. When you get that horny feeling, it does not mean go bust down a chick. It does not mean go hop on a website. A lot of times, that's your spirit. That is your spiritual signals telling you to go meditate, telling you you're in alignment, telling you, hey, that you're healthy. So it's like a lot of times, that's what I'm saying. It's been hijacked. We literally been told that every time we get hard, we gotta go release. Why? Ask yourself, why? You're not alone. You're just plugged in. But the moment you become conscious, the machine feels the loss. Okay, pull the plug. It's time to pull the plug. Don't fight your desire. Reclaim it. Transmute it. Sanctify it. Like I said, once you realize that spark, once you realize that desire can be utilized and can be transmuted into anything that you desire, you realize like, holy cow, I've always had what I needed. My attention And my direction was just misleaded. It was misguided. It was being sent and siphoned into places that were just feeding off of me. And like I said, and I'm going to tell you this, and you will hear it on this platform all the time. You were not born. You did not incarnate in this realm to just be siphoned on, to be drained, to be, I don't want to say the word, but I'm going to say sucked dry, but like, you know what I mean though. Come on guys. You know what I mean? Like, you were not born to be harvested is what I'm trying to say. Because if you really think that you manifested into this realm, you incarnated into this realm just to be harvested, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? You're watching this video. Something is telling you. Your soul brought you here. I didn't force you here. Your soul guided you here for a reason. Let your lust become fuel for creation, not consumption. Let your eyes become tools for discernment, not distraction. Let your energy become a weapon of liberation, not leakage. Because once you stop feeding the grid, the whole system begins to starve. And when the gods remember, and goddesses remember who they are, the machine falls. We already know we're in the age of Aquarius. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but you and I both know why we're here. You know why you're here. I don't have to say too much. Baseline reminder. You're not addicted. You've been conditioned. The collective lust grid isn't your identity. It is an overlay. It is an overlay. And overlays can be peeled off. Like, at a basic level, we've been given faulty beliefs thinking like this or that you can't. Okay, a quick one, I'm going to get right on track. It's not noble to be spiritual and wealthy. Says who? Says who? It's noble to struggle and be poor. Says who? Overlays. The fact that you're watching this means you're out of remembering. You don't need more discipline. What did I just say? You need more awareness and application. Because like I said, you can have God-tier discipline. You can have God-tier motivation. You can have all the books. You can be FaceTime and Einstein. It don't matter. Without awareness, without application, it means nothing. It don't mean anything. Awareness collapsed the contract. Awareness collapsed the contract. Now, these are the core takeaways. If you want to, you can get your notes, you can write these down. Like I said, email me. I'll send you all my notes. I'm extremely transparent because, like I said, I know these times are critical, and I know that you're tired of being subjugated and basically fed on by these entities. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, 1, the lust grid is global, but it's personalized itself to you. It disguises itself as your taste, your preference, your normal, but it's customized conditioning, not authentic desire. Because like I said, right, when you think of it at a basic level, your type should be the individual who elevates you to your truest potential. It shouldn't be big ass or Latina or, you know what I mean? Like, your type is going to be the one that brings you into divine union with your highest purpose, with your highest timeline. It's not going to be, like, think about that. Really think about that. Oh, I love me some black men. Think about that. It will be the individual who aligns you with your highest timeline, a divine union. You are not the source of your urges. They are part of a larger program built to extract energy from your mind, body, and spirit through repetition and unreserved emotion. 3, breaking your personal loop disrupts the entire collective grid. The series that I'm making, this is an original series, the Lust Grid. This is part of it. But like I said, don't get too hard on yourself in perspectives of like outsourcing and feeling like you have to tap into all these other people. But it's like, because at the end of the day, this might sound crazy, there's souls who came back here to be a part of that grid. and to, for lack of better terms, either get out or just be consumed by it. Every time you say no to the algorithm, no to the impulse, and yes to your higher self, the machine loses strength. You reclaim your power. 3 things you can do right now to exit the collective less grid. Interpret the ritual. Interrupt the ritual. The grid survives through repetition, scroll, fantasize, search, and repeat. Start noticing your loop entry points. And this is key. If you have notes, or if you're on an iPhone, screenshot this. Or just any phone, screenshot this. Your loop entry points. Is it boredom? Is it loneliness? Late at night? These are one of the most critical loop entry points. Does certain sounds, trends, or apps trigger it? And I'm going to get even deeper. A lot of times, and this might sound kind of weird, a lot of times, and be honest, like some people's entry points are certain foods. This might sound weird. A lot of people's entry points are certain, like, clothing. A lot of people's entry points are certain, and it doesn't have to even be like a provocative positioning, but the way a person's positioning may be, and it, for some reason, they're on the website. So really start to dissect and really start to analyze. Like I said, you're in analysis and analyze what's going on, because you're gonna be like, oh dang, like, wow, that was an entry point. I didn't even realize, and I thought it was just normal. Okay, action. Delete or pause the apps that lead to the cycle. Like I said, for me personally, I'm entering into energetic sovereignty, and emotional sovereignty. But if you are struggling with this, like, very, very bad, like you having meaningless, blah, 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 blah. You're having meaningless sexual intercourse. You're masturbating every single day. I would encourage you to delete those applications and block those websites and stray away from the females and or males that are keeping you in that loop. Because until you build up that sovereignty, until you build up that emotional and energetic sovereignty, it's going to be hard. Because ultimately, like, in the end, the way I look at it, where I'm at now, when I see these things, I see it. That's a part of the construct. Keep it going. If I see a female dressed a certain way, or just anything like on the internet, like on Instagram or TikTok, I program myself to just look at it. That's just a woman at that stage, at that part of her life. Keep it going. But if you stay there and you just fantasize, it's got you. Ritual. Create a 24-hour no scroll zone after dark. So when it's time for you to start getting to bed, I would encourage this, bro. Like, sleep with the phone in a different room. Okay, if your phone is the alarm, put it on airplane mode. But I'm telling you, like, the more you scroll and the more you let that idle mind dictate what's going on, the loop is just gonna overtake you, and you're gonna be right back on the website, or right back texting old girl or old boy, and this time the third done popped off. Replace it with breath work, journaling, or stillness. Start starve the cycle that feeds on your starve the cycle that feeds on your soul and restore your soul. Sorry, I guess when I tapped that out, that my bad. I'm trying. Okay. 2, rewire your reward system. This one is so key. And to me, this is like the most fun part about it, because it's like growing up, especially in this tech digital era. I remember back in the day going outside and playing with friends, scooters, going to like 7-Eleven, playing street soccer outside. Those were like natural dopamine, like riding a mongoose, getting pegs, and like riding with your friend on the mongoose. Just like you will take a trip down memory lane, right? And you realize, like, dang, like I had like so much fun as a child, but then as we get older, our reward system gets hijacked, and then our dopamine gets replaced with, look, check this out. The grid hijacks your dopamine, and I'm gonna tie it back into what I'm saying, right? The grid hijacks your dopamine and replaces meaning with micro thrills. Take your reward system back. So it's like going back to like when you're a child. Now that you're older, like I said, what, 20s, mid 20s, and for those who are older, anyways, but it's like start thinking of the things you did as a child. Go on a hike. If you don't have a bike, go get a bike. Like I'm telling you, check this out. Like go get a bike. Go visit like an old park used to visit and just journal there. And something I've learned is like doing these things, like you're basically healing your trauma, and like you're healing those aspects of yourself that kept you empty and kept you without and had you going to these cheap dopamine thrills. And the more you conceptualize and realize that, that's the fun in it, because now you're replacing that dopamine hijack for more meaningful things. And then now that you built up that that foundation, you can really start being more creative. So check this out. Action. Start using arousal energy for creative transformation. Whether it's music, fitness, building your brand, or vision planning, let the urge become fuel, not leakage. What I just say, once you've healed that aspect, revisited those aspects, and realized that you have always been a ball of light, just pure, before the system got you and tainted you, you can start making big leaps in your life. Every time you redirect the energy, you strengthen your sovereignty circuit. Like I said, it's all about emotional and energetic sovereignty. I'm not here being like, oh, lust, if you see a girl, walk away or run back in the house. It's not about that. It's not about that. Oh, if you see an OF girl on Instagram, shut your phone down and throw it in the ocean. It's not about that. It's about being emotionally and energetically sovereign to the point where when you see these things, oh, it's just a girl. Female, oh, it's just a guy. If that guy and or woman is your divine one, do what you have to do. But other than that, keep it pushing. That's it. That's it. That's all that it is. Reclaim sacred imagery. The grid bombards you with low frequency visuals that train your nervous system to crave distortion. You need new imagery, new templates. Action. Fill your space with images that activate remembrance, not regression. Create an altar. Light red candles. Surround yourself with symbols to call forward your higher form. Protect your eyes. Guard your gates. Visual detox is spiritual warfare. So like I said, especially if you're in the state where like it's an everyday thing for you, you're finding yourself just just like having sex out of convenience, masturbating out of convenience, then yes, you're going to have to really like dig deep, because if not, like it's going to create a stronghold in your realm and in your reality. You don't escape the collective lust grid by being perfect. You escaped it by being present. So when you go those 30 days or 40 days or even 50 days and you possibly slip up, celebrate. Don't celebrate by going down that rabbit hole and like cycling down, but celebrate meaning that like, hey, like I was conscious and I was able to break free from that. And like I said, sooner or later, you're going to get to the point where like for myself, it's like, you just realize like you're meant for more. And it's like the more you study about these entities and how they feed on you, for one, you're gonna really feel disgusted, because you're gonna realize like, holy cow, like I was merging my timeline with OF models. I was merging my timeline with entities. I was merging my timeline with thought form spirits that need life force just to survive. And you start looking at things and looking at angles and being like, dang, like that's not why I'm here. And you realize that you have a divine purpose, and it's much deeper. It's much deeper than like being on the red carpet and doing these things. It's like it's helping others remember. That's just at a basic level, and it doesn't have to be something extravagant. You're here to remember who you are, that you are divine, that you're unique, that you're peculiar. Each time you interrupt the loop, each time you reclaim your urge, each time you remember that you are not the program, you awaken the machine and return to the original code. And that is the real pressure. Pleasure. Pressure pack. But I had a good one with you guys and gals, gods, goddesses. Oh, why are you saying that? Why do we have to use derogative terms to name what is the essence? You're the source. You're the source of all things. You are it. So yes, God, goddess. Yes, king, queen. Let's bring those back. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for joining me on another excerpt of the Collective Lust Grid. Like I said, this is an original docu-series. And yeah, because I'm like doing my independent research and like realizing that it's literally a grid and you can literally see it and you can literally feel it. It's like, man. But it's been woven through pop culture. It's been woven through these things where it's like you think it's like natural, but it's like, okay, once you see these things and you've experienced it, why stay there? Why stay chained? Like we just mentioned earlier, the war is not physical. It's mental. You're taking the chains and you're locking yourself down, staying trapped in these grids and not building your own grid, which we'll get into in future videos. But thank you so much. If you speak Mandarin and or Catalan or just Spanish, please reach out to me. I'm seeking out multilingual speakers to be ambassadors because this message has to be spoken in multiple languages. So if you do speak Mandarin and or Spanish, go on ahead and email me. I'll be giving you direct scripts and protocols to relay this message. And it's just a beautiful time to be alive because it's like there's just so much great things happening. And when communities come together from different cultures and from different backgrounds, just dissecting this and letting people know like, hey, like it's possible for you to break free. It's, to me, that's just joy. That's joy to me. So thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, out. Yeah.